Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications as I'm sharing great contents for you. Alright guys, in this lesson we will continue with the API project section. We will create our controllers, but before that I would like to make my settings up to date, and I would like to create my Docker Compose file and then raise my SQL Server, try to migration, see if there is an error or something, and I would like to check my table. Everything is ready to go, and then we can create our controllers and try to test our codes. I didn't do any tests until this section because I'm hoping I'm gonna have some errors. I'm strictly having how can I say, I'm strictly thinking having errors in the videos. It's really useful for you guys because the lots of people just creating their content without any error or something, and when it comes to create your own project you can find out lots of errors and you don't even know how to process with the errors and bugs, so it's really can be frustrating. So that's why I'm trying to receive error. Okay, first of all, let's right click on project, add project reference. Where's our reference? Yep, I'm going to get from application and infrastructure. Alright, all done. Docker file, it's just came automatically when we create our API, so I'm not gonna touch anything, so I'm gonna use as it is. Now right click on your API, but before that let's clean the existing class and controller. We don't need the weather forecast CS anymore, just delete it. And let's go to controller. I don't need this controller as well. Let's delete it. Anything else? No, that's it. So we're going to fix the DB connection, but not now. Let's close it and let's add our services into our program CS file. I'm gonna delete these commands. Now I'm going to add my namespace using application. What's the name of it? It's YouTube clean architecture dot application and infrastructure. Now I can add my services. Builder.services, add infrastructure services requires configuration, builder.config. Perfect. Let's add the other one, services.add application services. It just requires, actually it's require nothing, just add the service. Perfect. The services are added. Anything else should I do here? I'm assuming not. Let's close it, and I'm going to add now my Docker Compose. Right click on the project, add, and the container orchestrator spoke, guys. You're going to click that one and it's going to be Docker Compose. So I'm using the default ones, I'm not changing anything. That's okay. It says you have already a Docker file. Do you want to rename it and generate a new Docker file? You can say no, because I already have one. Yep, here we go. We have Docker Compose file here. Alright. Now I'm going to build step by step, one by one, this Docker Compose file, and I would like to share my information how we creating this file, guys. First of all, I'm gonna keep the existing one, but I'm gonna add a version here, and it's going to be 3.8. Then we're going to add our services. The first service is our API project. Actually, am I going to use this naming? Yeah, the naming is okay, but I'm going to add a container name as well. Container name. Let's say YouTube API. Perfect. This is the container name. Should I add anything else? We can add environments, and we can add a connection string. Let me have a quick look. Just leave as it is for now. I'm gonna add the database first. Okay. It must be exactly same alignment while you're creating a new services. So it is going to be the clean let's say YouTube. I'm gonna use the same naming anyway. YouTube architecture dot SQL. This is the service name. I'm going to copy and paste from my previous section. Let's copy and paste. Okay, this is the image, guys, and this is the container name. Let's change the container name YouTube dot SQL, and this is the environment, and this is the port we're going to use. I'm gonna change this port to 9 because I'm already using the 8 ones. This is the volume. I'm not gonna tell you one by one what is the volume is, what the port is, why we're using environment. This is the subject of the Docker. Is a total different lesson, and if you want me to create a Docker lesson, I can do for you, but in this project series I'm just gonna use existing files, and you can just copy and paste and continue. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking at the moment. Alright, so we add our SQL service, we add our API service, and we need to add actually our network, and we need to make a couple of arrangements and set extra settings in our API. First of all, I'm gonna add my network and depends on section. As you can see, we are receiving error because it must be aligned with the relevant types. So it's dependent on this SQL, and we're going to define a network for both of them, and the network is help the container talk each other, guys. The volume is help the changes what we did in our container, just keeping the old data if we create a new container to use the SQL again. So everything seems alright. Image, container name, build, depends on networks, volumes, ports, all done. Should I add port for my API? I'm just checking. I don't think so. We can give environments. Actually, we need to give some environments. Let me have a look quickly. Actually, we need to give our environment, I'm assuming. Okay, let's try to add an environment here. So the environment is going to be development because we're working on development environment. The connection string, I'm going to give a connection string for my Docker Compose. This is really important. We have a connection string in our appsettings.json as well, but these are going to be different because the Docker Compose is using the name of the container, the name of the, how can I say, the name of the service, but the appsettings.json connection string is using by our migrations. So every time, if you don't want to switch the settings, you all need to do is add an environment on your Docker Compose file and add another connection string to your appsettings.json, all be fixed. Now I'm going to use this one, and database name, let's say YouTube API, YouTube API, and this is the ID, this is the password, this is the connection string. Perfect. It seems alright. Now let's take this connection string and add our appsettings.json. But now this time I'm going to change this to localhost, because it's going to be a localhost, and put a comma, and after the comma I'm going to add the port I just defined for my SQL server, 1439. Okay, the server is going to be localhost 1439, and this is the DB and this is the credentials. Perfect. Let's save it. So we have a connection string using by the migrations and EF core things, and we have another connection string pointing the same location, but this time we are using the container service name. I'm assuming it must be the service name, but if it's the service name is not working, we can switch it to container name. So it's going to work eventually somehow. Okay, after all, we're going to define volumes and networks here. I hate this. Okay, this is the network volume has been defined. MS SQL data. Here we go. This is the network defined. App network driver is going to be the bridge. So we just basically create a network and driver is going to be the bridge. This is the settings of our network. Alright, our Docker Compose file has been set. All we need to do is run the project and see if it's going to work or not. Once we run the project, we can try to do a migration. And let me see how many minutes have been done. It's 13 minutes. Perfect. It sounds good. Let's run the application first and see what's gonna happen. By the way, you need to install your Docker, and you need to how can I say, keep open your Docker file. Okay, as you can see, the Docker Compose has been created and our containerized, our YouTube SQL file and YouTube API file, they all up and running right now. Okay, as you can see, our Swagger has been opened, it's running, but there is nothing has been defined. This is totally empty, and yeah, we're going to build step by step, but our container is running right now. So now we're going to, guys, we're going to do our migration. I'm just closing the app. As you can see, our container are still alive and they are running. Just careful when you do migration, if your container, if they are not running at that moment, first run your Docker Compose and stop the application. Your container will stay alive. It doesn't matter, you can delete them all. Let's delete them all. Delete forever. It doesn't matter. Once you run your Docker compose again, they will be created anyway. Because every time you rebuild and every time you build your project, anyway, it just delete your existing container anyway. So it doesn't matter you delete it or not. As you can see, our container created again. As you can see, our volumes are here. We are using these volumes. It just created 2 minutes ago. As you can see, this is the container volume created for our project. So do not worry about anything while you work in Docker containers, guys. Perfect. Let's minimize this thing. Close the app. Container is alive, and let's go to migration section. So let's where is package manage console? I'm not quite sure if we get an error or not. Let's see if it's everything okay. I will be really happy. Okay, now we're going to switch to API as a default project. Then we're going to select the infrastructure. Then we can do add migration initial. Let's see if we succeed or failed. Alright, we didn't install design. Okay, we need to install design package to the API first. Right click, manage to get. I'm assuming we install this, but I don't remember. Okay, let's browse. Let's say design. Yep, entity framework or design 8011. Install it. Apply, accept. I guess all done. I'm still waiting. Yep, done. Perfect. Let's get back to console. Add migration initial again. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, let's have a look. To enable the creative context type, the exception and the type requires a primary key to define key type. Okay, the title, we have a problem title because it is just considering the title is a table. So we need to, I guess we did a conversion for title. Let's have a look at our configurations. I need to check the configurations quickly. Do we have any? Yeah, we add a title for invoice item, but we didn't add a configuration, right? Let's bring a title section here. Do we have any description? Yeah, let's copy this section, and this is my fault. We add the description for the invoice item, but we didn't add the configuration. Description, title, well actually it must be description. Naming is really important, guy. Always give correct namings. Value is going to be title value is required. Perfect. It seems all good to me now. Let's try to run migration again. Alright, just waiting. We'll succeed. Perfect. We got only one error, which is happened just because we add some extra things. Okay, we have a customer table. Let's have a look. ID, title, address first line, address second line, address postcode, city, country, balance and row version. None of them is nullable except second line address. Perfect. Is there any connection? Create table. Let's have a look create. Okay, there is a connection between the invoices. When we came the invoice, we will see. So create table, products, ID, description, unit type, row version. There is no nullable. Okay, perfect. Create table, invoices, PO number, customer ID, total balance, row version. So we have a primary key invoices, foreign key of the customer ID, perfect, and the delete action is restrict, as you can see. It's quite nice. So invoice items, everything seems okay to me when I have a quick look. So we have a connection between invoice. As you can see, referential action is cascade. So if we delete an invoice, the invoice items will be deleted. And the index are created. Perfect. It sounds very good to me. We can update our database. Update database. I'm just waiting. Perfect. Database updated. Let me have a look how many minutes have been done. It's 21 minutes. I'm thinking to finish this lesson here, but before finishing the lesson, I would like to show another application which I'm using for investigate my data. I'm using an application which is called the Beaver. I'm using the free version, the community version. Just type the Beaver in your Google and install the app, and you can use this straight away. Now I'm going to make a connection to my SQL server, and I'm going to see the table and everything in using this the Beaver. So our server is still alive and it's using 143.9 port. I'm going to close the other one, everything. Alright, so I have a lot of connection here, but I'm going to create a new connection which is going to be SQL server. The local host of port is going to be the 9, and the username is SA. What was the password? Let's go back to our Docker Compose. Not you. This is my password, right? Your strong password. Very creative one. Control C. Ignore. These error messages belong to my previous, existing DB. Just trying to connect, but there is no connection at the moment. So I'm just saving password, and let's test the connection. As you can see, connected. It is a success. Okay, let's finish it. As you can see, there is the name is we forgot to give a name. Just, is there any rename? Yep, YouTube API. Okay, perfect. So we are connected. There is a green tick, as you can see. Let's go inside and let's see the tables. As you can see, customers, invoice items, invoice, and products. Perfect. So we are able to see our data as well using the Beaver. Alright guys, now I'm going to finish this lesson here. Next video we're going to continue create our endpoints. I would like to try first if our project is working, then we can go back to application, create our behaviors like logging, caching, everything, then we can continue where we're at. Alright guys, I'm really excited to continue to this project, and I hope you having fun while watching this video. If you crush the like button, I will be really appreciated. It's really motivating me, and please drop comments below the video. Our channel is really needed that comments and likes, because the YouTube algorithm using those inputs to make my videos much more visible to other users. Alright guys, take care of yourself. See you next lesson. Bye bye.